Quite a few Chartists have been out the last day or so, suggesting that Tesla will take one more dip before it goes way, way up. And that seems to be the common thread among almost all analysts right now is whatever's going to happen in the next few weeks, it's going to move higher and higher and higher. So for players, you might have another opportunity to jump out and then jump back in. Good for you. Hope it works out for you. I've been in your shoes and I continue to buy leaps. But there's only a few odd bears at this point that aren't predicting much higher numbers later this year, as of course, Robotaxi and Optimus, the two largest products in the history of mankind, hit the streets, so to speak. So one guy that's kind of finally figured it out is Ray Dalio. Have you heard of him? Yeah, he runs the world's largest tech or hedge fund. Kind of a good investor. I don't know. Some people think he's okay. So he has placed a new bet on Tesla Inc. Late last year, he exited Micron Technology and also, I guess, took a few shares off the table of Goldman Sachs. He decided that he would take his money out of Goldman Sachs and Micron, and he would switch over his Bridgewater Associates money, 62 million bucks worth, into Tesla, a 0.28% share in the fourth quarter. I guess that averaged out to about, according to one source I saw, he paid about $410 a share. So he thought that Tesla was fairly valued at 410. Let me see, 410. Wasn't that the old all-time high? Oh yeah, okay, that was interesting. Anyway, so he says here that due to Chief Executive Elon Musk's close relationship with President Donald Trump, that's why the strong rally took place, and he bought in at the very top, really, of that rally, although it didn't turn out to be the top, did it? Elon Musk posted regarding that Elon Musk noted this decision. It came out this morning, and Elon Musk said, "Smart move." Well, in the Bizarro department, I need to have a department called Bizarro for my show. The military apparently was looking to possibly buy $400 million worth of Cybertrucks. But these weren't going to be just any old Cybertrucks. These were going to be armored Cybertrucks. Now, my guess is that Tesla wasn't going to put the armor on these Cybertrucks. They were going to buy them through some third party that was going to so equip them. But anyway, of course, when this item showed up, I think it was yesterday morning, showed up on some print somewhere, the leftists were all aflutter. They just couldn't believe what was going on. Rachel Maddow said this was absolute proof that Elon was getting special paydays, special payoffs from the president, the new president. Oh no, really? Oh no, it turned out these trucks were on a plan to buy list from last year for the Biden administration. So, in a nod to keeping things as straightforward as possible, the Cybertruck branding was removed from this list, and now it just says armored trucks. Anyway, we'll see what's going on here, but I just want you to know that Rachel Maddow is looking out for you, and she always does her homework. She makes sure that everything that she says on her program is 100% correct, and I just want you to know that for sure. Oh, out of Yahoo Finance this morning, the chart-watching strategist, as I mentioned earlier, who analyze trading patterns to gauge a stock's trajectory, are also wary even after Tesla shares rallied the past couple of days. What it all adds up to for investors betting the stock will soar anew, like it did in the weeks after the Trump election, is that, the immediate prospects are decidedly mixed. I don't think, quote, I don't think the stock has bottomed yet and probably has one more move down, which could happen over the next 1 or 2 weeks, said Mark Newton, head of technical strategy at Fundstrat. He sees scope. He sees scope for it to tumble back. Anyway, he sees there's a chance that it's going to tumble back towards where it stood after the U.S. election to around 314, or about 12% below current levels. I've seen others think it could go all the way down to 275 before rebounding, but everybody's everybody when they say it, but then it's going to rebound. Tesla shares almost doubled from November through December as investors bet that Musk's proximity to the president as a mega donor and now right-hand man would ease the regulatory hurdles for the company's ambition of creating a fully self-driving car. It's good writing, don't you think? Anyway, so I didn't write it. They wrote it. Anyway, so yes and no, and sometimes and maybe. This decision by Elon Musk is definitely to set up the DOGE thing and to get this heavily involved in politics and to be Trump's right-hand man. Of course, it has major benefits. I've been talking about those major benefits since the very beginning in terms of, for instance, he doesn't have to go to India or have India come to him. Modi was here yesterday to see Trump, so what the heck? Let's have lunch. So, Musk has lunch. Oh, well, everybody blows up. Oh my gosh, look at that. What's Elon now? The Secretary of State too? Well, he's met Modi on multiple occasions, both in India and in the United States at the Tesla factory. So no, he's buddies with Modi and he was in town. Let's get together. Let's talk about what we're going to be doing in India. He's not Secretary of State. Anyway, in this background, going on to the article again, however, the outlook for its EV business was weakening. In the January 29th earnings call, Tesla dialed back expectations for vehicle sales growth this year. They sort of did. You have to really jump in and say, okay, because they didn't say 20 to 30% in the call, and they didn't give a new number. I don't know. I still think it's 20 to 30%. Anyway, then came a string of disastrous sales figures earlier this month, including from Germany and France and China and California, which helped deepen the stock's dive after the record close touched on December 17th, which was 488, right? Okay. Actually, record close was 480. Well, there may not be a substantial trigger for a rebound anytime soon either in the form of updates on its efforts to produce the self-driving vehicle, according to Evercore ISI analyst Chris McNally. Not much more hype can come out of full self-driving autonomous vehicle until June, when Tesla has said it will start its Robotaxi service, he said. Oh, that's just ridiculous. Of course, there can be lots of hype between now and June. There could be things like this morning or yesterday when people noticed that there was some code available on the app that referenced the Robotaxi service. There could be sightings of cybercabs on the streets of, of course, there could be hype between now and then. Tesla shares currently trade at about 119 times projected earnings. That depends on whose earnings you trust. The average for the so-called Magnificent Seven stocks, the cohort of all, is 30. So, it's a lot more than the other tech giants. For the S&P index, it's 22. So yes, it's true. People are betting heavily on the fact that Elon Musk is going to take us further into the future. He's already taken us into the future. Now he's going to take us further into the future with, again, I've already said it once, I know, the two largest products in the history of mankind. There's an awful lot of future growth priced into the company, said Steve Sosnick, chief strategist at Interactive Brokers. The valuation right now implies a roughly 30% jump in the company's earnings next year. Well, that wouldn't be hard. He added, analysts on average estimate 225 profits will climb 19%, according to data compiled by Bloomberg. The sky-high valuation, quote, the sky-high valuation means that any disappointment or anything that punctures the faith will mean there's much more room for the stock to fall before value-oriented buyers might step in, Sosnick added. The outlook explains the trend in the options market where traders have grown less bullish. In the past few days, volatility started to pick up, signaling that traders are starting to pay more for contracts that project against a slide. The fundamentals still matter for the stock market. Another quote, and this stock is still trading above fundamental outlook, says Matt Maley, chief market strategist of Miller, Tabak and Company. We're expecting more weakness in Tesla over time in the coming months, even after this short-term bounce. Other chartists that I've been checking are also predicting one more dip, but then everybody seems to believe after June, if those robotaxis are out there, and if we start seeing those Optimi walking around the plant, things are going to get crazy. Okay, this is from Herbert Ong. He's reporting this morning that Laffer Tengler Investments CEO Nancy Tengler had this to say about Tesla. We have not thought this was an EV company for over a year, because what Elon did with EVs was he cut his own margins to drive his competitors out of business. We expect to see margins improve. We expect to see the cheaper model we expect to see the cheaper model, and then Cybertruck is likely on the horizon. And then, of course, my home healthcare solution for my old age, she says, is Optimus, the robot. And I think this is being underestimated. Do you think so? Yeah, it's being underestimated in the valuation. Yeah, I could easily, as I've said many times before, and Cern Basher and I have did a whole couple of shows on this. If Tesla was at 3,000 tomorrow, I could sit here and honestly justify why it would be at 3,000. Honestly justify. So yes, it's the Optimus robot has not been taken into any consideration, any serious. I mean, it's sure the reason we're over 100 PE is because of Optimus and Robotaxi, but it isn't dialed in yet. Okay. ABC News had this morning. Some Tesla shareholders remain bullish on the company despite its short-term drop. Angel investor Larry Goldberg, known as Tesla Larry, posted on X that he supports Musk's political efforts, even if they impact the company's stock price. Go Larry. If the Trump administration, quote, they're quoting Larry, if the Trump administration and DOGE does not fix the deficit, my Tesla shares and everyone else's U.S. stocks and bonds will be worthless, Goldberg wrote. Musk reposted Goldberg's comments, adding, exactly. All right. So Larry gets ABC News, and he also gets a nod from Elon Musk today. Larry's going to be on the show later today around 4 o'clock. You'll be able to see Larry basking in this beautiful light. So that'll be fantastic. So we've got Larry this week getting this wonderful comment from ABC News. We've got Brian Wang making it into number 8 on the Metaxas Futurist competition, out of like 20,000 people. Anyway, this is Randy Kirk. If you like these guys, it's going to be an amazing weekend because we've got Larry tonight. Then later at 7:45, we got AJ. And then over the weekend, we've got Warren Redlick. And we've got more from Brian Wang. I mean, we got more from Cern Basher. The Cern Basher show, I already know what's going to be on that. We've already recorded it. It's phenomenal. So you're not going to want to miss that. So the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's going to be chock full. Make sure you've hit that notify button. And for those of you who are new to the game, you cannot hit notify unless you, of course, are a subscriber. So then you want to hit subscribe. And because you like me, because I'm fun, you want to hit the like button. And then if you really like me, you'll join Patreon. Some of you really like me, but you haven't hit Patreon for $3 a month. I mean, $36 a year. This is, did I mention it's Randy Kirk? Prices for U.S. imports increased 0.3% in January. After rising 0.2% in December, U.S. export prices rose 1.3% in January, following a 0.5% increase the previous month. Okay, now look here. Let me talk about this for a minute. Export prices increased 1.3% in January. That would be 13, 15, almost 15% per year. So it isn't just tariffs that impact what's happening with prices, folks. Yeah. Over the past year, import prices increased 1.9% and export prices rose 2.7%. So over the year, it's been kind of okay. This is almost entirely in fuel, because prices for non-fuel imports only ticked up 0.1% for the third consecutive month in January. So it's mostly our export of, so fuel prices went way up. Well, not way up. They went up last month, but now they're back down again and headed lower. That's my thought anyway. I am a little bit off right now. I agree. I was thinking we'd be under $70 for Texas Intermediate by now, and we're not, but it'll happen. Market Watch says this. They say that sales at U.S. retailers sank 0.9% in January, according to the government. This Market Watch is reporting this. Driven in part by sharply lower receipts at auto dealers. So it's not just Tesla, folks. Auto dealers. plural. Economists polled by the Wall Street Journal had forecast a 0.2% decline, but we got a 0.9% decline. Retail sales represent about 1/3 of consumer spending and offer clues on the health of the economy. In 2024, retail sales rose 4.4 for the year, which is good. Key details: sales of cars and trucks fell 3% last month as dealers offered discounts to lure buyers constrained by high interest rates. Auto sales account for one-fifth of all retail sales. I didn't know that. I should have known that. Okay, let's keep that in mind. If automobiles were omitted, retail slid a smaller, only 0.4% last month. So then the Federal Reserve is reporting this morning that industrial production increased 0.5% in January. That's excellent, after moving up 1% in December. A full percent in December and then 0.5% in January. That's pretty good. In January, gains in the output of aircraft. So here we go. Aircrafts and parts contributed 0.2% to the total IP growth following the earlier resolution of work stoppages at the major aircraft manufacturers. So this is all Boeing, okay? Boeing, because overall manufacturing output, not counting Boeing and other major aircraft folks, declined 0.1% in January, held down by 5.2% decrease in the index for motor vehicles and parts. The index for mining fell 1.2%, while the index for utilities actually went up 7.2% as cold temperatures boosted the demand for heating. At 103.5% of its 2017 average, total IP industrial production in January was 2% above a year earlier level. However, now capacity, this is the one I pay attention to, capacity utilization stepped up a bit to 77.8%, a rate that is 1.8% percentage points below the long run average. You really want capacity utilization to be over 80. That's really where you want it to be. You're never going to get much over 80. It's just almost impossible to happen. All right, so as noted, we have an amazing lineup coming, but let's go ahead and take a look at where the market is first. If I don't write it down, I don't remember. So see here, Tesla the market is all mixed this morning. It is completely, when they call a market directionless, that's what we've got this morning. So Tesla is down $3.23, $3.30 after having been up earlier this morning. But it's very directionless. It's kind of been in this area for a while. The Dow, which was up, is now down 42.13. The NASDAQ, which was even kind of flat this morning, is now up 39, but that's not very up, is it? But it's kind of headed upwards, whereas the Dow's headed downwards. The S&P also at $7.23. It's going, now it's 5.58. So I guess it's headed back down. Actually, just now, the NASDAQ is starting to tail off. Everything's starting to tail off a little bit, except for Tesla, because Tesla is just whatever the rest of the market is doing right now. It says, never mind, we're going to do the opposite. So it's actually slightly trending up a little right now. Okay, so we've got Apple up, Google and Amazon down, Meta up, Microsoft down, NVIDIA up. Yeah, so but NVIDIA is strongly up and 100% to the right. In fact, 100% like vertical right now. But anyway, but it's only $2.76. We got the Cathie Woods are basically up this morning, all up this morning, looking good. Yes, the bonds. We'll talk about that in a second. We have got the Dow is down 0.17. NASDAQ is up 0.17, and S&P is up 0.08, and Tesla down 1.13 at this point. Okay, so how is the bond market impacting all of this? Well, it's good news this morning. Good news Friday morning. It is down 5.7 basis points on the 10-year to 4.468. We have completely now gone all the way back down to where we were on Monday, which is really good news. We need to go a lot further. As you know, my quest for the bond market is 3.75, 3.50 would even be better. If we can get down there, that will drop mortgages. That'll encourage builders. That'll encourage people to buy homes. If we can get to 3.5 or 3.25, even better. How's that going to get there? Well, you've heard my mantra. I'll say it again. DOGE, DOGE, DOGE. The Republicans need to back DOGE up. They need to show sincere appreciation for what DOGE is doing. They need to write legislation and get it passed that turns what DOGE is doing into law, so that there's no confusion, so the judges have nothing to talk about. All that needs to happen. It doesn't need to happen it needs to happen for me. It needs to happen for you, because our economy, we're part of the economy, and we're going to be impacted if this DOGE thing works. It needs to work. Ray Dalio says it needs to work. I can go down a list of all the top guys. Jamie Dimon says it needs to work. I mean, just go down the line. They've all been quoted. The government spending is completely out of control, and if it continues along this path, it is disastrous for the economy. And DOGE is the answer. It's the solution. But we need to have the Republicans behind that. We need the judges to get the heck out of the way. All right. So after that rant, the 2-year down 5.2 basis points, and the 1 month is up slightly this morning, 0.6 basis points. Oil was ticking up a little last time I checked, but now it's down. There you go. So we're at $71.10, down 0.19 cents. 17 cents. And that is 0.25%. And Brent, though, is up slightly at 75. So about a $4 spread, which is all week has been around a $4 spread. Natural gas is up 3.39% this morning. It has been moving up this week after falling off a cliff the previous week. Gold is down 28 at 2,917. So you see, I lost my I said last night gold is going to go through 3,000. Now it's headed the other way, but there's still time. You never know. Okay, silver up 2% at 33.38. At least silver is listening to me. It's trying to get over 34. Copper down 2.19. Okay, because it's at all-time highs. And then we've got the dollar drifting. We've got Bitcoin up 412, 96,570. Bitcoin has been a lot less volatile recently, kind of stuck right here in the mid-90s, not moving up and down that much. All right. There we go. I think we've covered all the important stuff. So Larry Goldberg later today. AJ later today, 7:45. Cern Basher tomorrow. Brian Wang tomorrow. Warren Rudlick on Sunday. I mean, how do you do better than that? Maybe I could get Elon Musk. That would be better. All right. So, and last night, Cern Basher, very good show last night with Cern. So I'm going to put that card right there. Yeah, I think that's it. Am I missing anything? Did I forget anything? I mean, you could join Patreon. You could. It's possible. I know you can do it. It's been great talking to you. If I could find this off button, it's completely gone now. I have no idea what I'm doing. Here we go.